Now let's fill out this form. We have three functions. For y-intercept, we know that is 0, c. So you get 0, 12, 0, 50, and 0, negative 5. For zeros, we will go to graphing calculator. We will put the y1 for the first function, y2 is the second function, and y3 for the third function. I put all these three quadratic functions into y1, y2, y3. Then I press graph. It shows all these three graphs. If I only want to draw y1, then go back to y1. This equal sign is highlighted. Then you need to go to y2, put the enter. It will unhighlight this equal sign for y2. Then for y3, I put the enter. Equal sign will be unhighlighted. Then you go to graph. It only shows y1. This is a standard window, negative 10, 10, 1, negative 10, 10, 1. The scale for x-axis and y-axis is 1. If you go to zoom, this is 6, this standard window. So I go back to graph now. You could say it's hard to get this x-intercept. If you want to see x-intercepts clearly, you have to change the window. For x-axis, we do know this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can change the window like negative 5 to 5. Scale will be 1. Your y minimum, we will change this into negative 2 and 2. Because you could see the minimum is greater than negative 1. Then we draw the graph. You could see this is a clear graph. Remember, still 1, 2, 3. And minimum, you can use a graphing calculator to figure out. So let's go to second trace. Go to 2. That's 0. 0 means x-intercept. We know this is 1. So the left bound, I can press 1. Enter. Right bound, it will be between 2 and 3. So you can put 2.5. Enter. Enter. They show you x-intercept is 2. Do the same thing. Second trace. Go to 2. Because this is the other x-intercept I'm looking for. Left bound, I will put 2.5. Enter. Right bound, this is a 3. So you can put the 4 or 5. It's really up to you. I put the 4. Enter. Enter. They give you the other x-intercept is a 3. This point is a minimum. So we will go to second trace, go to minimum, that's a 3. Still ask you left bound. You know this is a minimum point. Left bound for this point. You can put the 0, 1. This is really clearly it's on the left side of this minimum point. So let's put 0. Enter. Right bound. You could say this is a 4, 5. It's so clearly to say on the right side of this minimum point. So let's do 4. Enter. Enter. They show you 2.4999. Basically, it's a 2.5. Y coordinate for this minimum point is a negative 0.5. We already know the y-intercept. That is 10. It didn't show in this window. Even the y-intercept didn't show this window, you can still use calculator to get that. Go to trace, then press 0, enter. Because for y-intercept, you do know that it's f of 0. So we can fill out the form for the y1 now. For zeros, I can write down 2, 0, 3, 0. Or you can write down x1 equals 2, x2 equals 3. For factoring form, remember the factoring form is y equals a, x minus x1, then x minus x2. Therefore, you will have f of x equals a is 2. You know this is a equals 2, b equals negative 10, c equals 12. So we have 2, x minus 2, x minus 3. For axis of symmetry, basically for this y1, we know the minimum point, that is 2.5 or negative 0.5. Therefore, axis of symmetry will be x equals 2.5. For vertex form, this is h, here's k. For your vertex form, we know that it's ax minus h squared plus k. Therefore, we can write down y equals a is 2, x minus 2.5 squared minus 0.5. Since we have 2 roots, which means b squared minus 4ac greater than 0. Remember, b squared minus 4ac greater than 0. You have 2 roots. That's the rule. So how to sketch the graph? And we need to label that y-intercept. The y-intercept 0c. And x-intercept, x1, 0, x2, 0. And also you need to show the vertex, that is hk. Label 0, 10. So let's label, this is a 10, here is a negative 10. Then so on the graph, you need to show these 4 points. Then connect these 4 points to sketch the graph. Don't forget to draw this axis of symmetry, x equals 2.5. So the minimum point is 2.5, negative 0.5. Let's go to y2 this time. So unhighlight this equal sign, we go to y2. Highlight this equal sign, then press graph. Do not clear the memory because you don't want to lose these 3 functions on this y equals. We go to zoom 6. This is the graph for y2. We want to get a more clear graph. Still, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 6. So we go to window. For x minimum, let's change into 0. X maximum, let's change into 10. And a scale still 1. For y minimum, let's change into -2 because we want to check whether the graph cross this x-axis. Maximum is 2. Then we draw the graph. You could say this graph exactly on x-axis. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can use second trace to check. That is 2. 1, 2, 3. So 3 for left bound, right bound. This is a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do 7. Then enter, enter. They give to you 5.0 on x-axis. If you do second trace, go to minimum. Still 3, enter. 7, enter. You will get same thing, which means this graph just touch x-axis once. Therefore, we can write down zeros is 5, 0, or x1 equals x2 equals 5. We know only one solution, which means b squared minus 4ac equals to 0. So we write down b squared minus 4ac equals 0. Your factoring form will be f of x equals 2 times x minus 5 squared, because it's x minus 5 times x minus 5. For axis symmetry, it's x equals 5. Because the minimum point is 5, 0. Vertex form is y equals 2 times x minus 5 squared, same as the factoring form. And you can do, this is a 5, this is a 50. This is the axis of symmetry. So you have the same distance here. Then connect these 3 points. Y3. We will unhighlight this equals sign for Y2. Then Y3, enter. Go to graph. Remember, go to zoom 6 to get a standard window. For this standard window, you could say no x-intercept, which means b squared minus 4ac less than 0. For this window, you don't have to change anything because it's easy for you to get the maximum point. And you can get trace, press 0 to get the y-intercept. This is -5. Then go to second trace. Go to maximum point this time. Let's do, this is a 1, -1, -2. So left bound, we do -2. Right bound, let's do +2. Enter, enter. They give you 0.25 and -4.875 as a maximum point. So we get 0.25, -4.875 as a maximum point. So here's no root. B squared minus 4ac less than 0. Since no root, which means no factoring form, axis of symmetry is x equals 0.25. Remember, axis of symmetry is x equals to h. And a maximum or minimum, that's hk. So for the vertex form, you can write down this. Y equals -2, that's a x minus 0.25 squared minus 4.875. For the graph, we can label this is a 5 or here is a -5. Then this one you can label as 0.25. Here is 0.5. And you will get the point like this. When you sketch a quadratic function, at least 3 points. So you try to get this symmetric line, that's x equals 0.25. This is a intercept, so try to get the same distance, this point. So you can connect these 3 points. When you label your x and y-axis, remember you have to show the scale. And for this maximum point, that is 0.25 and -4.875.